Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about the mountain ranges of Asian and Australian continent. So let us first start with the Asia. The first important mountain range that we have to discuss here about is a Kunlun Mountain, also called as Kunlun Mountain. So first of all, let us try to understand the location of this mountain. So as you can see from this particular map, that Kunlun Mountain forms a boundary between different regions of People's Republic of China. On the northern side, it is surrounded by Xinjiang region of China. Xinjiang region is ethnically we can say a Muslim dominated region of China, located at the border of we can say Pakistan and Afghanistan. Then we have Tibet in the south, and in the eastward side we have Qinghai region of China. So Kunlun Shan basically borders Tibet, Xinjiang and Qinghai. Overall, the length and breadth of this mountain range is almost 2,500 kilometers, extending from west to the east, and average width of this range is around 200 kilometers. The highest peak of this mountain range is at the altitude of 7,167 meters, which is known by the name of Liushi Shan. Shan is actually a Chinese word which loosely translates into mountain. So basically Liushi Mountain, we can say, is the highest peak of this Kunlun mountain range. If we try to understand the mythological importance of this particular mountain range, so Chinese people believe that this Kunlun mountain is actually home for a goddess called as Shivangmu. Shivangmu is believed to be a living forever goddess, that means who has not died, who is eternal, and she is in charge of marriage, fertility and women, protection of women. If we try to look at the image here, this we can see the Shivangmu goddess has the upper part that is of a woman and man, woman we can say as human, while the lower part we can say it resembles of a leopard. So she is half human, half animal. Apart from that, if we geographically look at the Kunlun mountain, it is example of volcanic cone mountain, and overall there are almost 70 different kinds of volcanic peak that makes up this Kunlun mountain range. Now volcanic cones, actually how these volcanoes have developed, it is still not completely understood, because if we try to understand, this region lies in the area where we have convergence between two different continental plates, that is Eurasian plate from the north and Indian plate from the south. However, we do not understand that why and how the continental convergence have led to formation and development of volcanoes. The average age of all the major mountain peaks of this particular mountain range is somewhere about 5 to 2 million years ago, and largely we have this whole mountain range is dominated by a rock that is called as trachyandesitic rock. Trachyandesitic rock is a combination of rock that is made up of trachy rock and andesitic rocks. So that's all about the Kunlun mountain range. The next important mountain range is Altai mountain range. Altai mountain range is located, again, if we try to understand, it borders 4 different countries. On the westward side, it borders with the Kazakhstan. In the southern side, it borders with the Mongolia. In the northern side, it borders with the Russia. So that is the overall whole range of Altai mountain range. The length of this mountain range, again, it is extending in the eastward-westward direction in kind of arc form and extend for a distance of almost 2,525 kilometers. The development of this mountain is believed to have happened after the convergence between two different continental plates. We have movement of Indian plates from the south and Eurasian plate in the north, and due to this convergence we have upfolding of sediments and the rocks, and this upfolding of sediment results into formation of what we call as a fold mountain. So Altai is a very good example of fold mountain systems. Not only this, UNESCO has classified the Altai range as also a World Heritage Site. The Altai region basically consists of Altai mountain and Khartoum Natural Reserve. Apart from that, here also we have lakes like Lake Teletskoy, we have Mount Beluga and Yukok Plateau. This whole region combined together is also known by the name of Golden Mountains of Altai, and UNESCO has declared it as a World Heritage Site in year 2000 on the ground, because this particular region represents the most complete sequence of altitudinal vegetation zones. That means as we go higher up on the altitude of mountain, we encounter different geographical zone, different vegetational zone, and in this golden mountains of Altai, we have a complete picture of all the vegetation zone that is possible with variation in height. For example, we have in central Siberian zone, then we have a steppe zone, we have forest to steppe, mixed forest, then subalpine vegetation, and finally to the alpine vegetation. Further, geologically, if we try to understand this Altai mountain, historically, if we try to understand this Altai mountain is believed to be the home of Denisovan hominins. Denisovan hominins are believed to have existed in around 40,000 years ago, and they are believed to be contemporary of, we can say, they are believed to be the contemporary of the African hominins that are Neanderthals. Also, it is believed to be the region where we have Sima turbino phenomena that occurred in the Bronze Age. Briefly, if we try to understand what is Sima turbino phenomena, it is believed to be a burial culture, and it represents the radiation of humans from the Central Asian region to the other parts of Asia like Southwest Asia, Southeast Asia, and even to the Western Asia. So this movement and migration of the humans is called as Sima turbino phenomena, and this Altai mountain is believed to be one of the centers from where the humans have radiated out. As of economic activity is concerned, here we have a lot of different ethnic tribes live in this area, and most of them engaged in the activities like cattle herding. That can be animals like bisons are there, horses are there, sheep, goats, camels. Apart from that, we have also agriculture that is practiced in the lower regions of Altai mountains, and in some areas also we have forestry as a major economic activities. So that's all about the Altai mountain. The next important mountain series in the Asian region located in Central Asia is Hindukush Mountain, that extends for a distance of almost 800 kilometers from north to south. If we try to understand its geographical location, it is situated along the boundary of Tajikistan, Pakistan in the north, and in the south it radiates out all the way up to the Afghanistan. Overall, it covers area of central and western Afghanistan, northwestern Pakistan, and southwestern Tajikistan. The development of this mountain is believed to have occurred somewhere about 55 million years ago during the Paleocene epoch, when again we have a continental convergence between Indian plate from the south and the Eurasian plate from the north. So basically what we can say, Hindukush Mountain have same orogeny as the Himalayas in India, Nepal, and the other regions. Apart from that, the importance of Hindukush Mountain becomes very high as far as the water or hydrological we can say demand of Central Asian region is concerned, because the most important river of Central Asia that used to flow even up to Lake Aral Sea in the Uzbekistan was Amu Darya river. Amu Darya river, if you remember, we have discussed in previous videos that it used to drain in the Aral Sea region of Uzbekistan. However, during Soviet time, the Soviet government built up a large number of dams on this river so that the water can be diverted for the cultivation of cotton. That also has led to drying up of the Aral Sea. So Amu Darya, and in the southern side or western side we can say Amu Darya river we have of Hindukush Mountain, and on the eastern side we have the Indus river system. So basically Hindukush Mountain system act as a geographical barrier between Amu Darya and Indus river. Not only that, this mountain system is still geologically active, similarly as Himalayas, because Indian plate still is pushing toward the Eurasian plate at the rate of 5 cm per year, and that is why we also have a lot of earthquake-like activities that are witnessed in this particular regions. If we talk about the highest peak of Hindukush Mountain, it is believed to be the Mount Terich Amir, which is at the altitude of 7,708 meters. Not only that, the Hindukush Mountain also was believed to be a cradle of Buddhism in earlier times, and the most famous, or we can say the most clear example of that, was the statue of Bamiyan Buddha that were placed in the Hindukush Mountain, that were carved out in the Hindukush Mountains of Afghanistan. However, when Taliban came into power, they did not wanted to have any statue or of any deity, and they said that it is against Islamic code, and that is why now you can see this is the recent picture where they blasted out, or you can say exploded dynamites and cleared the Buddha's statue. So this is the earlier, before Taliban, when we can see statue Buddha, and this is after Taliban when the whole region has been carved out. So that is about the Hindukush mountain system. The next important mountain range of Asia is in the South Asia, that is the Arakan Yoma Mountain, that extends for a length of almost 400 kilometers right from the Cape Negrais in the south, Myanmar, to Manipur in India in the north. If you look at the map here, this violet region is the one that is called as Arakan Yoma Mountain. The highest point on this mountain range is called as Mount Victoria, which is situated at an altitude of 3095 meter. And this mountain range, if we try to understand, it acts as a climatic barrier against the coastal regions and the interior regions of Myanmar. How it acts as a climatic barrier? Simply, what happens during summer season and the rainy season, the southwest monsoon winds coming from the Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal region, they strike this western part of the Arakan Yoma Mountain, and as they strike the western part of Arakan Yoma Mountain, they rises up, they form cloud due to condensation, and we have orographic kind of rainfall. Thus, the coastal regions of Myanmar on the western side of Arakan Yoma receives very heavy rainfall. However, on the eastern coast, as the winds move toward the eastern coast, they become very dry because they have lost all their moisture, and also as they descend downward on the slope, they become warmer in nature, and that is why they are not able to cause any kind of rainfall. So this is kind of rain shadow region and arid region. That is why we can say it acts as a climatic barrier. Not only this, Arakan Yoma Mountain plays also a very important role in the monsoon rainfall of India as well, because the monsoon winds coming from the Bay of Bengal, when they strike the Arakan Yoma Mountain range, they cause rainfall there, but a large part of these monsoon winds are also deflected back toward Indian coast, and from there they enter via West Bengal Kolkata region and cause rainfall throughout the Gangetic plain up to the Punjab region and even sometime up to Rajasthan region in the north. Overall, the development of Arakan Yoma is similar as the development of Himalayas. Even some geologists believe that Arakan Yoma is nothing but extension of Purvanchal Himalayas. Purvanchal Himalayas are the mountain range that is located in northeastern states of India, like Patkai in the Arunachal Pradesh. Then we have Naga Hills in Nagaland, we have Manipuri Hills in Manipur, and Mizo Hills or Lusai Hills in the Mizoram. And then further it extends towards south, extends all the way to Myanmar in the form of Arakan Yoma range. So basically, it has also formed due to the same process of collision between Indian plate and Eurasian plate around 30 million years ago. From the human geographic point of view, if we try to understand, as Arakan Yoma forms a border between the coastal Myanmar and the interior Myanmar, it also acts as a border between Rakhine groups and the Burmese ethnicity groups. In Burma or Myanmar, we have two groups. Rakhine groups are those which inhabit the coastal regions of Myanmar to the west of Arakan Yoma, while Burmese remain in the eastern part on the leeward side of the Arakan Yoma mountains. Rakhine region is largely a Muslim dominated region, while Burmese ethnic group are largely a Buddhism following group that also causes many times ethnic clashes and religion based clashes between these two ethnic groups of the Myanmar. In terms of economy, the people inhabiting this particular mountain range practice shifting cultivation. Shifting cultivation can be understood as a method of agriculture where people burn the forest, cut down the trees after harvesting for some time, after harvesting a piece of land for a certain time, and then they leave it fallow for a few years. After again, they come back till the fertility of the soil has been restored. So such method of agriculture is called as shifting cultivation, largely followed by tribes of India as well in the central India as well as the eastern India. The next important series of mountains are located in the Iranian peninsula, Iranian plateau, that is Jagras Mountain, extending for a length of almost 1,600 kilometers from the west to east. If we look at the map here, this is the extent of Jagras Mountain. Apart from Iraq, this mountain range is also spread out in the part of Iraq and a part of Turkey. The highest peak of this particular mountain is called as Mount Dana, which is situated at altitude of 4,409 meters. Overall, Jagras Mountain forms the whole barrier on the eastern, or we can say southern coast or western coast of Iran, and in the southern side it also borders the Persian Gulf, which is a very strategic point because a large volume of oil and gas flows through this region. And here we have very strategic Strait of Hormuz that connects Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Oman. Apart from that, on the northern side, if you look at the Iran, we also have another mountain that is called as El Burj Mountain, And between the Jagras Mountain and Burj Mountain, we have two deserts in the central part of Iran that is called as Daste Kavir Desert or Daste Lut Desert. The development of this Jagras Mountain has also formed in the similar way by the continental convergence that has happened between when the Arabian plate was moving toward Eurasian plate, and due to this convergence collision around 25 to 5 million years ago, we have formation of this Jagras Mountain range. Jagras Mountain range is believed to be a place where Neanderthals used to live, and the first evidence of such fossils we have found from the Sanidar caves that is located in Iraq, that is in the cave, that is the cave region found in the Jagras Mountain itself. The next important mountain range, if we come to the Australia, is something that is called as Great Dividing Range. It is a range that we can see from this map here, extending right from the north of Australia to the south of Australia, covering the whole eastern coast of Australia, extending for a length of almost 3,700 kilometers. In the north, it begins somewhere from an island that is called as Dawan Island, and in the south, it terminates in the Wimmera Plain of Victoria region. The highest peak of Great Dividing Range is Mount Kosciuszko, which is at the altitude of 2,228 meters. Basically, Great Dividing Range is not a single mountain system or single mountain range, but it is a group of numerous mountain ranges, and that is why it is also believed to be an example of cordilleras. Cordillera is actually a word that has been taken from a Latin word cordi, that means it is cord, that is rope, and cordilleras refer to such kind of mountain which are having a various mountain ranges, various mountain systems, and are distributed over a large area and does not have any fixed kind of range like system or fixed kind of orientation like system. It is believed that the Great Mountain Range, Great Dividing Range actually has developed due to both activities of folding and faulting. If briefly we try to understand folding, as we discussed, that whenever we have convergence between two different continental plates, the rocks and the sediments present near the point of collision rises in the upward direction, and thus such kind of event is called as folding. Faulting, on the other hand, can be due to the break in rock that can happen either due to the compression forces or due to the tensile forces. So this can lead to the faulting, where a part of landmass is either elevated up or the part of landmass due to divergence process goes or subducts downward. Thus, we have evidences of both folding and faulting in the Great Dividing Range. The range age is believed to be somewhere about 300 million years ago, when we have collision between the South American landmass and the Australian landmass. The main important agricultural activity of the people in this region is agriculture, lumbering and mining. Lumbering relates to the felling of trees or cutting of forest and selling them for various purposes. Apart from that, Great Dividing Range also is very important from the water perspective, because two major rivers of the eastern Australia, Murray River and Darling River, originates from the Great Mountain Range itself, and the whole region is called as Murray-Darling Basin, that supplies water to the New South Wales and Victoria region of the Australia, where we also have famous cities of Melbourne and Sydney are located. The next mountain we have to understand about is something that is called as Blue Mountain. Blue Mountain is actually believed to be a part of Great Dividing Range, located in nearby the Sydney, almost 50 km from the Sydney. And here the highest peak is something that is called as Mount Werong at the height of 1,189 meters. This region has also been declared as a World Heritage Site by the UNESCO, and the Blue Mountain derived its name because of a development of blue haze in the upper regions of the mountain. This blue haze is basically caused due to the reflection and refraction of sunlight when the eucalyptus oil that comes out from the eucalyptus tree and vegetation in this zone released in the air, and they actually fall down, or we can say combine with the dust particles, and due to this we have the sunlight that reflects and refracts, giving a blue bluish kind of haze, and that is how the whole mountainous region, the upper part you can see here blues, how it looks like. And in the lower side we can see this whole vegetation, almost 70% of vegetation of Australia is just eucalyptus variety of vegetation. The last mountains that we have discussed is the Southern Alps. Southern Alps is actually a mountain system in the New Zealand, though it is a separate country but lies in the Australian continent, extends on the western coast of New Zealand. From on the coastal regions, this is, we can see the red region that shows here, it shows the Southern Alps. Basically, Southern Alps is an anglicized name. The actual original name of this mountain was Ka Tritiri Ote Moana, which is a Maori language. Maori language was the indigenous language of the inhabitant tribal, who were indigenous tribal that were actually living and inhabiting these areas, and it loosely translates something into the mirage of the ocean. The highest peak or tallest peak of this southern Alps mountain is something that is called as Aoraki, again in Maori language, and anglicized name is something that is called as Mount Cook at the elevation of 3,724 meters. The development of this mountain is slightly different from all the other mountains that we have discussed today. This mountain has formed by the convergence between two different oceanic plates. That means from the western side we have a Pacific Ocean plate, which is a denser ocean plate, and on the eastern side we have the Indo-Australian, or we can say Australian oceanic plate. Due to the convergence between Indo-Australian, which is a relatively lighter plates, and denser Pacific plate, we have volcanic or emergence of magma, volcanic eruption. This volcanic eruption has caused development of this particular mountain system. That is why it is also believed to be a part of Ring of Fire. Ring of Fire we have discussed before, that it is a circular ring that surrounds the Pacific Ocean right from the east to west, and it is called as Ring of Fire because there are a large number of volcanic activities and active volcanoes that are situated here. Actually, 68% of the active volcanoes on the world or on the earth is located around the circum-Pacific ring or Ring of Fire. This mountain is believed to have formed somewhere about 45 million years ago, and also here we have one other important weather system that is called as nor'westers wind that blows in around the southern Alps. Nor'wester winds are actually very similar to the Chinook wind in the Rocky Mountain of North America and Foehn wind in the Alps mountain of Switzerland. So basically what happens, from the eastern side we have the cool and moisture when they approach the mountain system. Gradually, due to the barrier, orographic barrier or mountain barrier, they rises up. As they rises up, the temperature drops down, condensation happens, condensation leads to cloud formation, cloud formation leads to a very heavy rainfall on the western slope of the southern Alps. While once wind crosses the peak of the mountain, it descends in downward side where winds become warmer and are drier in nature, and that is why this region is rain shadow zone where we do not have any kind of rainfall. So these winds are actually called as nor'wester wind, which causes heavy rainfall on the western side of the mountains and no rainfall on the eastern side of the mountains. So that is all about the mountain systems of Asia and Australia. We'll discuss about the mountains of India separately, all the important mountain and hill ranges of India. That is all for today. Thank you very much.